Greetings, mortals, and welcome. Please present your tickets for validation. Thank you. Your existence has been acknowledged, and you have been granted access every Thursday and Friday. You will be accompanying your guides, Krista and Brandy, along with a world-renowned guest. They will be exploring an intriguing tendril of what humans refer to as reality each week, as they strive to advance you further down the path to the truths of your physical earth and what lies on the other side. Remember to please keep your hands and feet in the vehicle at all times, and do not exit until the craft has come to a complete stop.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday.
How are you, Brandy?
I'm good. I'm exhausted, but I'm good.
And this heat that we're having in Missouri is awful too. You know, I think
it is.
In a lot of the Midwest and southern states, and it's just awful for everybody.
Yeah. It's a little early to have this.
That's what I was thinking.
Just saying.
You know what, though? It is June 20th. We're not far from July, so.
Yeah, but I'm not used to this kind of humidity until like August, you know.
I know. I hear you. And you know what I forgot to do? God, man, you got to shoot me or you got to send me reminders. So we have an event coming up, and it is July 13th, and I don't have a flyer for that one. My bad.
Right. It's July 13th. It is going to be at Malvern Manor. It is, you guessed it, another ghost hunt. It's going to be super exciting. If you got to go to our last event, you met Josh Hurd. If you didn't, you need to meet him. He will be on location at his very own property. And if you want a ticket, you just go to Eventbrite under Blondes and Booze, and it should be the first event that pops up. And you get to come, and we're going to have dinner, have, a lot of laughs, and then we're going to ghost hunt for the rest of the night. So it should be very exciting.
Yep. And Courtney says he's a great guy, funny too. He sure is. And on that night, we're actually going to do a taco bar. So we're going to feed you tacos that night. So it's going to be a fun night. Brandy, are you there?
Right.
Did you freeze up, Brandy?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you see me?
I can now. Okay. It was just briefly. It was just briefly. It's all good now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. My all of my internet and everything's been acting weird all day.
Huh, that's crazy. Anyway, you want to do the lineup this week for shows, and then we'll just get on with it.
Absolutely. On Monday nights at 8 p.m., it is Texas Front Porch with myself and Tex. On Tuesdays at 8 p.m., it is Beyond BMR with his co-host Krista. On Wednesdays at 7 p.m., it is Donnie Cho Says Stuff. At 8 p.m. on Wednesday, now these are all Central Times, it's in Humanoids with Barton, Nunnelly, and Letitia. On Thursdays, of course, at 8 p.m. Central, it's Us with Blondes and Booze. At 10 p.m., Monica Rollins will be on with her show, Our Paranormal World. On Fridays, where the Blondes and Booze are back at 7 p.m. Central. On Saturday, our friend Paranormal Paul brings us Paranormal Among Us on Saturday at 7 p.m. Central. Don't forget, Josh Turner with PRT comes on, Friday nights and Saturday nights and Sunday nights, but also on Sundays at 5 p.m. Central. Truth or Tinfoil with myself and Randy Gilbert. And at 7 p.m., Tex and Danielle Diva do their newest show of Infamous Minds.
Awesome. I don't know how you memorize it. I guess I could memorize it, and I do. I just have to really think about it.
You just have to think about it.
Yeah. I'm showing my age when I do that, 10 years ago, I'm just like you.
You should hear Randy Gilbert do it. And he is our tech guy. I have to explain this. He is our tech guy, and he does our shows, and he edits our shows and sends them off to all the platforms, and he still has a heck of a time. I'm like, Randy, you do this every week with our shows. Wouldn't you remember? He's like,
Right.
yeah, sometimes.
Funny. That's too funny. That's too funny. Well, we're going to get on with the show. We have Nick Valente with us, and he is one of the founders of the IDP. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring Nick up. And
Yeah, he's been a longtime friend of the Blondes, so this is awesome. We get to catch up. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Hey, thank you for coming again.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You're welcome anytime.
Years, right?
Yeah, it's good to see you for sure. You want to let's just jump right into it. You want to tell everybody what the IDP is and then what you do?
Oh, the International Dogman Project. We have the International, actually we have a lot of different sections of it. We have the IDP USA, IDP Europe, I just opened up, and we already have over 5,000 members there. IDP UK.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, various states have the IDP. Missouri has one.
Yep.
Oklahoma, New York. I mean, we're all over the place. And what it is research on the cryptid known as Dogman. And I try to get that out to people in all the groups, and all of our admins tell them the same thing. We tell them, look, people, please don't post stuff about Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and another cryptids. This is a Dogman site. There's over 1,000 different Sasquatch, Bigfoot sites out there.
Right.
So, you can post over there, because if you do post that over, on one of the IDP sites, we're just going to delete it. We'll send you a little message and ask you not to do that. And,
right.
It's just not going to get posted. So you're just wasting your time.
Yeah.
And as for myself, I've just moved from New Jersey, where I've been, and for the longest time, and I moved to North Carolina. It's more central for me, North Carolina, to do Dogman research. And also, research to me is going on computers, going to bookstores, libraries, interviewing people and the like. Field investigation is also a big thing, a big part of my deal. And currently, I'm trying to put together a new team or teams, because the teams I used when I was in New Jersey came from the place that I worked at. And even though I'm now in the state where the people I work for, this is their main headquarters, I have to put together a new team, because none of these guys are, involved in cryptozoology.
Right.
And that's my whole deal. I don't care about the infighting or anything going crazy in the cryptozoology world. I'm in it for the research, and heavy for the field investigation. Going out there, and I don't mean just going 300-400 feet into a forest area. I'm talking about miles and miles.
Yeah.
And when we do, I usually go with a team of 7. We're out there. We're ready to take photographs of any claw marks or a Dogman if we happen to see one. We bring plenty of water and plaster in case we find, footprints. And just basically, we have a lot of equipment with us in order to defend ourselves. I mean, we don't go out there. We're not hunting. We're looking to research, but we also have the right to come home.
Right.
And sometimes when we trek out into the forest area I'll tell you, one time we trekked out about a good 15 miles, and we decided to call it, and we set up camp, and we generally put up string alarms around us, and redundant string alarms, one at 10 inches and one at 14 inches. So if you can imagine string alarms encasing us, and if somebody goes through it, it's going to set off a flash and a bang. And then that's at the 10-inch level. Then there's a 14-inch level, another 3 or 4 feet in in case they missed the first one. So we do take precautions, and we generally leave 2 people up at all times.
Right.
Well, we guard our camp, because we're not going to have, like, one gentleman that I interviewed. He was in a tent with 2 other buddies, and a hand reached in and grabbed his leg and started pulling on him. Lucky for him, his buddy heard him screaming. He got up, and I disagree with the guy what he did, but he pointed at the doorway, and and shot the 44 Magnum, and whatever it was grabbing the gentleman's leg let go, and they heard it go off. So I guess he didn't hit anything or kill anything, but he scared it away with the noise.
So do you believe, or does he believe, did he see it? Was it a Bigfoot or a Dogman, or what was it? Do you know?
He didn't see anything, but he believes from the size. I mean, they had one of these little lights up in the top of the tent, and it was on dim so that they could sleep. But what he saw was a large hand, a very large hand.
Wow.
And he did not see any claws, because I interviewed him extensively, the best I could, to try to get the most info from him. And what he said was he thought he saw a very large, hairy hand, and no claws, but fingernails that went around the front of the finger, it looked like.
Oh, wow.
Dirty fingernails. So I'm thinking it was Bigfoot.
Yeah.
That had reached into that tent and grabbed his leg.
Wow.
And he's one lucky guy too. One very lucky guy. I wouldn't want to be ripped out of my tent at nighttime by a Bigfoot. Not at all.
No, heck no. Wow, that's crazy. I couldn't imagine.
I was just sitting there going, yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm going to tell you guys, it's so funny because I get, like I said, I get telephone calls, emails, Facebook Messenger messages, very long ones sometimes. And I'll call people back, or I'll do FaceTime with them to interview them and stuff. And they'll be telling me about, what's going on out there. And that's not just Dogman, but Sasquatch reports. Mothman is big at this time of the year again.
Wow.
People are calling about all kinds of things, out there. Jay and I just did a show in the Cryptid Consortium on Skunk Ape. And it's funny because this past week, after that show went up, I got about 24 Facebook messages in reference to people seeing skunk apes.
Yeah.
Which isn't so far off. I'm going to tell you, it's not that far off.
Right. So you guys will go out and investigate any of it. It doesn't have to be just Dogman.
No, it doesn't have to be just Dogman. I prefer it to be just Dogman because we specialize in it. But if someone really needs help and they kind of convince us that their evidence and their sightings are real, what I'll do usually these days is, instead of sending a 7-man team, I will go out with, or I will send a 3-man expeditionary team.
Yeah.
And they will interview the people face to face, because that's the best way to do it.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, we've been snookered a few times in the past. People call up and they'll BS you and just to get a rise out of you and say, ha, we got you.
Yeah. For
no
attention.
such thing.
Yep.
I mean, that's just wasting my time. So, like I said, if we, after speaking to people on a phone, doing face-to-face this way, maybe with emails or text messages, if I feel that it's something that really warrants it, I will send out the expeditionary team. And then if they find some other stuff, and it's too dangerous for 3 guys to go out there and stay in the woods.
Right.
So we'll send a full team out.
Right. Absolutely. So how often are you able to get out?
Well, like I said, I just moved to North Carolina, so I'm putting together new teams.
Right.
And if there's any guys out there or girls out there that think that they are qualified, by all means, contact me. And, they can contact me through your show, Krista and Randy, or they can send me a Facebook Messenger, and I'll meet with you and see if you're up to snuff and see how much training you need.
Wow.
We do go out there with the idea that we're going to come back home, but you got to remember, we do stay out there. I mean, the longest we've stayed out there was for 5 days. And, I mean, that's quite a while for most people. And
however, I feel like, though, you need to go out there for a certain length of time to get them to come in, or you know what I'm saying?
Or to find what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And I mean, guys, when we go out there, we don't just go out there willy-nilly, by the way. We take a bath or a shower in like coconut oil. We'll clean our guns with coconut oil, because that's not something that animals can smell. We do have nighttime goggles that we use when we walk, because we do most of this at nighttime.
Yeah.
I have a pair. Well, I do have a pair. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can snag this.
Okay. So for everybody watching, I just dropped Nick's channel. He does a show with Jeremiah Fountain and Gary Spikes Jr. It is Paranormal Cryptid Crossroads. And you guys, I dropped the link.
Oh, the one that I did with Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I shared the link. Paranormal Cryptid Crossroads is what it comes up as.
Oh, wow. It shouldn't be that. It should be Cryptid Consortium.
Well, when I put that in, a Paranormal and Cryptid Crossroads research comes up. And it's your all shows. It's your all shows up on there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't that how YouTube works though?
Yeah, I'll have to let Jay know. But anyway,
Yeah.
This is what I was saying. We wear these muffs while we're out there.
Okay.
And this not only protects us in case of if we have to, fire a firearm,
Mhm.
but this also enhances our hearing out there by about 25 times.
Oh, wow. So it's kind of like a parabolic mic, similar?
Well, it's similar, but I'm going to tell you, it really works well for us. It's more directional. It's more like 180 degrees,
Mhm.
instead of just straight on or all around.
Mhm.
But by wearing this, under our helmets, helmets out there, and by wearing that, we come on par with some of the animals. I mean,
Wow.
probably hear sometimes better than we can.
Mhm.
And mountain lion way better. But a couple of times, one of the guys picked up a rattlesnake. You can hear the rattle.
Wow.
And they're generally not going to attack you unless
Right.
you're threatening them or you're getting in their area or you step on them, and then you're in trouble. But that's
Right.
the reason why we wear combat boots, very comfortable combat boots.
Yeah.
I currently wear Bates. I like them the best. They're most
Mm-hmm.
comfortable. And they're high. They're about 8 inches. And on top of that, from the knees down, we wear Kevlar gaiters.
Mhm.
Wrap that
I
around.
have those.
It hits you. Yeah, see,
Mhm.
you got to take precautions out there. Not just take,
Yep.
food with you. We take MREs with us and a lot of water. You not only take that, but you got to take precautions out there. We have
Yep.
med kits. Recently, I was on a show and I said, what one thing would you tell them to have out there? And I says, one of the things that you really should have that people don't bring is gloves. Mechanics wear gloves. That's
Right.
the brand. It's Mechanics wear. I don't get any money from them for saying it. All I know is it's the best glove that I've ever used.
Wow.
And you know something? If you're climbing a tree, you need the gloves. Now, if you fall down and you hurt yourself, you need the gloves because you got to crawl out, right?
Sure.
If you're crawling up a hill or something, you need to protect your hands. Not only your feet, but your hands. Your feet is a given, okay? People shouldn't be going out there with flip-flops. But something they do not understand is protect your hands. So that's why I'm preaching that these days and telling
I
them.
agree.
I just put an article up in IDP, International Dogman Project USA, about going into caves and a precaution that they should take against the bat poop that comes down and it's on the ground and it's in the air. And I advise if people think they're going to be going into tunnels or caves, or anything underground, make sure that you go in there with, and I even posted it with goggles, sealed goggles, and with some sort of filtration system. And I don't mean the little nurses thing that goes over your face that they hand out when COVID was popular. I mean the one where you have the 2 filters on the side. This way you're not breathing that because that stuff is very bad for the human lungs.
Right.
So just little tips and tricks. And we carry all this stuff. I was recently on a show and I was telling him, he was going, well, what odd things do you carry? And I said, well, I carry black salt, white salt, and holy water, just in case.
You never know.
If we're trying to defend ourselves and nothing else is working, and I throw salt at this thing, and it works, well, then I'm up one, right?
Right.
So and might need holy water. Who knows?
Well, at least you know what you're dealing with if it does work. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
like if
Well,
you've
some people do
exhausted
say-
everything.
Some people do say though they've had encounters and they like, rebuke it in the name of God or whatever,
Right.
and it works, so why
Yes.
not?
Yeah.
It can't hurt. It can only help you.
No, that's right.
Early next year in 2025, I'm getting together a very large group, and not just my team, but we're having a large group of members, and we're going to be going up into northeastern Canada in search of
Wow.
indigo.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And two of my guys who are very mechanically inclined are putting together. Now, mind you, the only way to kill a Wendigo, so-called anyway, the only way to kill one is with flame.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to be taking 6 flamethrowers with us, small flamethrowers. So
Wow.
we're going to try to defend ourselves somehow, some way.
Wow. Wow.
So
That-
we
I
got
look
all
forward
kinds of
to
stuff.
hearing about that.
I
All
know.
kinds of stuff
That
we gotta
sounds
think
exciting.
about. Yeah, but you know what else is up there in northeast Canada is the Gugway,
Mm-hmm.
the Sasquatch called the face eater.
Yep.
Mhm.
So
What
I
no
don't know.
part
I
of
don't-
the way.
I don't know too many things that are not afraid of fire. So
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I want no part of the Gugway. You had a couple quick questions that had to do with gear. So let me put those up real quick and then we'll move on. Be Kind says, Nick, could you please hold it so we can see the brand name on the headband? So I guess what the brand name is for the headband that you use?
is he talking about the hearing
The
aids?
earmuffs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll just tell them they're called walkers. WALKERS.
Okay.
Walkers.
Okay.
They come in a multitude of colors, and for the ladies, it does come in pink if you like pink. No, I'm not kidding. They're really trying to hit
Wow.
the market for everybody. But these things are wonderful. It's just 2 batteries. Switch it on, and I'm going to tell you, you can hear people talking, 100 feet away, and
Wow.
you're like, oh, he can't hear me. Yeah, I can.
Oh, yeah.
If you fire a gun, it's going to blank you out. Just
Oh, yeah.
a millisecond, so it'll protect your ears.
Sure. Crystal J asked, Nick, what do you use for bug spray? That's a good question.
Ah,
It's a controversial subject, I'm telling you.
yes. I use a special one, and oh god, they took it downstairs.
I guess you wouldn't think we'd talk about bug spray.
No, it's a special one that I got at Whole Foods. And I'm going to tell you, it works super well. Let's see. Hang on just 1 minute.
Mhm.
I actually have a bottle of it downstairs. I very rarely look at it, but I use it all the time. And I believe I have it right. I'm trying to look it up right now. This stuff is fantastic. It's come on. Okay. Nantucket Spider. Nantucket Spider.
I'm writing it down.
It's
Yeah, me
Nantucket
too.
Spider. Guys,
Now
I'm going to tell you something. It's DEET free, but it works. It works so well. When D.A. Roberts and I were at the Nickel Cemetery in Kentucky, LBL, it was 1:30 in the morning. We had the lights off. Used my vehicle. We had the lights off. We pulled in, saw something in the distance. We got out real quick, but quiet, went around to the back. And when we opened up the trunk, the lights went on in my car, right? The bugs by the hundreds came on top of our faces and everything. And I looked at DA and I said, oh, there's the one thing we forgot to do before we got out of the car. We had been driving for over 2 hours, all the back roads in LBL, Kentucky. And like I said, we wound up at Nickel Cemetery. So what I did was I reached in, I grabbed the bug spray, I sprayed him first. They left him alone. I sprayed myself, they left me alone. I mean, this stuff is fantastic.
Wow.
Keeps the ticks off of you, mosquitoes, everything. And it's a very natural bug spray. And
Okay.
I I would recommend spraying not only your regular skin area, but also your cloth. Just keep those things away. You can't be out there, and worrying about everything under the sun, and you got to worry about being bit to death by mosquitoes too. But that's an excellent question. I'm glad they asked.
Yeah. And then last question on your gear. Let me go to it here. Let me find it really quick. Spilling Tea with Spunky Sparky says these tips are great. Thank you. Out of curiosity, how much does your gear weigh?
About 65 pounds.
Wow.
Okay.
Total. Now, mind you, I have a battle belt on. I have a vest on. I have a backpack, and I have the water. We take the meals ready to eat, the mirrors, take them out of the package so we can lighten it up because every ounce counts.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll put it in one bag. And when that bag is empty, we know that, hey, we better start headed back.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. Do you have like do you think that one kind of bear spray is better than another, or?
No, I've used several different types, and just last year, in April of last year, we were here in North Carolina. I was still in New Jersey at the time. We came to North Carolina, and I had gotten, at least 9 solid reports of a dogman in a park. I mean, a very large park area, and the park area also had a very large lake in it. And I got so many reports, but I got 9 solid people that I spoke to, and they all swore to me that there was a dogman there, and they saw it during the daytime. So I did take a team out there, and on the second day, and we were out in the early afternoon and late at night, 2 times a day. And the second day at about 1:30 in the afternoon, we're going through this one section of the park that was had a lot of foliage, very heavy foliage, and we heard a noise. And good thing we had those earmuffs on. We picked it up real quick, and I'm glad we stopped when we did. We took a knee, and we saw shaking in the bushes in front of us, about a good 40 feet in front of us. And the creature was it was bipedal at that point. And it was coming through the bushes. And it let out a large roar as it came through the bushes, because evidently it was up and it was sniffing around. All 7 of us were down on a knee, all had our rifles aimed at it. And I gave the order not to fire. Like you guys probably know, I study zoology also, not only zoology, but zoology. You have to know what a real animal looks like before you can go look for cryptids.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times out there that people will take one animal for another. This turned out to be a large, very unusual looking black bear, but I could tell right away it was not a dogman. The snout was extra long, and I could see where the people that reported it as a dogman thought it was a dogman. It was a black bear, extra long snout, white along the sides of it, but extra long was it was about 6'7" tall. Now, mind you, black bear go from like 5'5" to about 6'1". Very rarely do they go over like 6'3". This thing was unusually large for a bear. It was very, very big, very heavy, but the arms were short. A dogman has longer arms.
Right.
And as soon as it came out of the bushes, I told the two front guys, I said, hit it with the bear spray. And as you know, bear spray goes out in a conical spray, and we got the kind that shoots 36 feet.
Wow.
And when they hit this thing with the bear spray, it went down, rubbed its nose viciously into the dirt, and started running with its nose down in the ground. And the direction it went, it looked like it was headed toward the lake. But, I told the guys to hold their fire, because even though it got mad at us, it came at us, we're not going to kill this thing because it looked like it was a bear. It was not a dogman. And I had a report to the members. I remember writing a report up on the whole thing that, I'm sorry, guys, all the reports and all the excitement about it being a Dogman, it was a bear.
Mm-hmm.
But, my whole deal is to prove or to disprove.
That's
And
right.
This is one time I did disprove it.
Yeah. And that's what it's about. It doesn't matter what you're out there, searching for, it is to ultimately, get to the truth. And it happened to be a bear that time,
Yeah.
Right. Well, I use Frontiersman. That's the
it.
one that
That's
I
the
have.
size you got to have.
Yeah.
That's what you need. I think I have one here.
I haven't had to use it, and I'm thankful. That's why I was asking, is there a kind that I should use? I mean, because like I said, bear spray, that's not out. There you go.
This is
There you go.
bear spray, right?
It's not something you use every day, and you just want to make sure you got the right stuff.
Learn how to use it. You got to take the safety off first, then you spray. Okay, so I mean, you're over there saying, "Okay, Mr. Bear, back down," and he's coming at you, and you're going, "Oh, it's not working."
Right. It's like this. Yeah, it's right here.
Make sure you know how to use it before you go traipsing through the woods.
It's kind of like a fire extinguisher. You got to know how to use it before a fire.
And this one, the bear spray, you don't have to spray back and forth. Just point it right at them, and it's going to go out there in that conical spray. I'm going to tell you, I've seen the reaction on a bear on several occasions. I've seen a reaction on an alligator down in Florida, and the thing did a death roll right on the ground when it got hit by the pepper spray, and it just kept rolling right back into the water. So it works on a multitude of animals.
Yeah, absolutely. I never thought about using it for an alligator, but why not though, right?
Well, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
If it's coming at you, you better do anything you can.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So what do you think a Dogman is, Nick?
I'll tell you, if I had that answer, I'd be a millionaire now.
Right.
True.
It could be many things. I've had to learn over the years to think outside the box. It could be something from another dimension. Mm-hmm. It could be an alien life form that's put down here, but we have evidence of it going back thousands of years. I mean, it's just so crazy. I mean, the Native Americans have it etched on the cave walls. In Egypt, they have a jackal-like one, but they also have a wolf-like one. Mm-hmm. On their walls down there, underneath the pyramids and such. I mean, these things have been appearing, all over the place throughout history, which is another reason why I hope that the people out there in the Middle East stop destroying, history, because if you destroy history, we're never going to be able to read it and see what's going on.
That's right. Like it or not, it's history. Yep.
I was of the belief that it is a flesh and blood because I had an experience with a Dogman back in 2013. Excuse me. And this thing was eating. It was eating the hindquarter of a deer. And if it needs to eat, then most likely it breathes and it bleeds. So now I'm wondering, it's a life form. But physicists have proven that there are 11 different dimensions. So Sasquatch has been known to go into an area and then suddenly, people that are following its footprints, the footprints disappear. Where did it go? Maybe they dimension hopped. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
Same thing with Dogman. Maybe a dimension, or maybe they're an alien life form that was put down here. They could either be the pets or the forward soldiers of an alien life form, or they could be the aliens themselves and they just got lost, or their mode of transportation is, on the fritz. Or maybe they're down here on a long-term type of expedition. We don't know that yet. What we do know is that there's a lot of evidence found in caves in the United States. Other countries, yes. Finland, I have an admin that's in Finland, and she has found where they're in different types of burrows and caves. There's evidence of them. Like I said, the Native Americans,
Mhm.
they have pictures that they drew of them. So something's going on.
Right.
Up in Michigan, late 1800s, you have the one of the first reports in a newspaper up there of a dog man where two lumberjacks were accosted by a dog man.
Yep.
I mean, it's in the newspapers. That's why before the show we were talking about stuff I've been doing and over the years. And like I said, I love going to libraries and little bookstores. And the libraries, I go back into the old newspapers, from the late 1700s. I mean, it's phenomenal what they have on microfilm and microfiche. And you just flip through it and read these old newspapers and
Right.
and old cameras that they had back then. They took pictures and stuff. I saw an old newspaper back there from the early 1800s where they have a Thunderbird that looked like it had a wingspan of about 45 feet.
Mhm.
And it's in front of a barn, and there's men behind it.
Right.
They're all standing around, and they took a picture of it. I mean,
Right.
how did they AI something like that back then?
Exactly. No, I get you.
I mean, that picture was around a long time ago. So, I
Mhm.
mean, I've been doing this for quite a while. It's 23 years now. And I remember my second year into cryptozoology, I saw that picture.
Mhm.
And we didn't have, crazy computer images of stuff and people doing all kinds of AI stuff back then. So, I mean, they couldn't have faked this newspaper report. But then again, like I said, I went to the library. I got the old newspaper on the microfilm, and I saw it. So, I mean, they took pictures of these newspapers, which, by the way, they still had the newspapers in the basement.
Wow.
But, of course, they're going to take pictures of it in case
Sure.
you pick it up and it just crumbles
Right.
to dust.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting, these places. When you guys get to travel around, definitely go find these places and go take a look. It's just it's phenomenal, the stuff you can find out.
People have been emailing us some encounters, and actually we just talked about one here not that long ago, didn't we, Brandy? One that somebody had emailed us down in your area in the Ozark Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've had a couple of them, people reach out to us and but we're not that we're not capable. However, we're two women, and I don't want to go, like you said, walking 10 miles out, just the two of us,
I'm not going to go 10 miles out with just three guys, myself and two other guys. It's just, you really need to post a guard at nighttime if you're going to be out there.
Right.
And what happens if you get hurt or injured? I mean, there's a lot of stuff we take with us.
Yep.
We take the Garmin 2. That's the newest thing we got lately is the Garmin 2. I mean, it's got a little orange button on it that'll save your life. You hit that thing, and within a half hour, you've got somebody coming by helicopter or by car or by something, and they're trying to help you out. So I mean, when we go out there, we've got all kinds of modes of communication. Ways to feed ourselves, for drinks. We have the oh God, I forgot the name brand. I guess I shouldn't say the brand of it, but it's the water purification, little hoses that you have out there that you can carry. I mean, we carry regular water, but you never know. You're going to run out of water. So we take those things with us too.
Right.
I mean, there's just so much you got to think about. But like the person that asked before, how much does it all weigh? Yeah, 65 pounds.
Yeah.
And yes, I do practice all the time. I take 3-4 mile walks with a 75-pound ruck. It's loaded up with books and weights and stuff.
Yeah.
You got to practice. Your legs get you there.
Absolutely.
And believe me, it's uncomfortable, but if you want to do it and you want to do it right, that's the way to do it.
That's right. No, I absolutely agree. Maggie M10 has a question here, and she says, any reports, please, of very loud, unexplainable metal sounds in the wilderness, like metal dropped from a great height around Dogman reports, please?
She's probably referring to something that 2 years ago we had a similar report. And what people are thinking, and it was about Dogman, yes, in the same area. they were thinking that it was a spacecraft crash of some sort.
Oh, wow.
That was the metal sounds. And once again, when you asked me what I thought Dogman was, if Dogman is an alien and its spacecraft crashed, then it's going to want to hide that craft, number one, and it's going to be in an area, and it might be, they might be sighted, by people. Yeah. So you never know what's happening out there. But yes, sure. I've had different reports of that.
Brandy and I were at the LBL. I think it was about a year ago, and we were at one of the cemeteries. We were at one of the cemeteries. It was
Tennessee or Kentucky.
We were on the Kentucky side. We were up not far from Grand Rivers.
Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, Mount Pleasant Cemetery, and we were out there doing ghost stuff, and and it was broad daylight, middle of the afternoon, and we were running an EVP recorder, and we actually got like doors closing, and it sounds like metal, doors closing, which is odd because there wasn't anything around there, for
metal at all.
There's no metal,
Yeah, there is no metal out there at all.
No. So I found that interesting,
Yeah. Well, think about it. If they are going through a portal into another dimension, maybe there is something metal. Maybe that sound is coming through the portal until the portal closes.
Yeah.
You never know. And it's just like, all right, scientific fact. We can hear, maybe 30% of what maybe a wolf or a dog can hear. We can see light spectrum, 10% of the light spectrum. What happens if we could see 50% of that light spectrum? Maybe we would see those spirits, the ghosts. Maybe we would see creatures from another dimension. Maybe right behind me or right behind you guys are people from another dimension, but we can't see them.
Right.
And because of the fact of our limitation of what we can see in the light spectrum. Now, I've done a lot of research on this myself about people that can see 16% of the light spectrum. And it's phenomenal what they can see. And a lot of those people become ghost hunters. Yeah. Because they're seeing things that, most people can't see.
Right.
So it's a phenomenal thing if we can enhance our senses. And unfortunately, we're stuck with what we got right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just, like I said, I found that interesting the way that, that we got that EVP. We didn't even hear it with our ears. Wasn't, we got back to camp and we were just, let's just see if we got anything. We weren't expecting to get anything. And then we heard that. We're like, what the heck is that? And we didn't only get it once, but we got it twice.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, when DA and I were at the Nickel Cemetery in Kentucky LBL, it was about 1:30. And after we dealt with the bugs, we heard something off to our 1 o'clock. And I had a 6 million candle power light and I shined it right over there. It was a big white light, big spotlight. Whatever it was, dashed over to our 10 o'clock. It just zipped right across. And I don't know how this thing must have been moving super fast. Because we actually heard it. And it stopped at our 10 o'clock. Whatever this was, I tell you right now, it was no deer. It was definitely not a deer. Can't run that fast. And I know what the sound of a deer sounds like. Right. They run on 4 legs. This thing was bipedal. So I'm telling you, that's when you got to go out. It's at nighttime. But guys, if you go out at nighttime, get some sort of night vision equipment. Even the cheap one that throws out an infrared. Nighttime is spectacular. You wouldn't believe what it looks like.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Let's talk about like characteristics of Dogman, like in ways that like people talk about how they follow them home and things like that. What do you think about that? Because I've heard where people say that they follow them home, and it's like these are credible people saying this. How does a Dogman go 300 miles, to someone's home?
It's not so phenomenal. I was reading a book about animals that people had left behind. There was a cat that the people left 1,000 miles away. A couple of months later, it turned up at their door.
Oh, wow.
These individuals left a dog about 700 miles away. A month later, it showed up at their doorstep. I mean, it's not so phenomenal. Now, they must have done something to the Dogman or the Dogman family or group that the Dogman actually followed them. So there must, I mean, I've had many, many, many reports about this happening and people actually moving, out of where they are after it followed them home. And then it didn't matter because it followed them to the next site where they moved.
Right.
I mean, I had this one lady reported to me, and I sent an expeditionary group to her place. She and her husband bought a beautiful, beautiful place. Unfortunately, it was 3 miles away from the main road. They didn't have any neighbors. It was a gorgeous, site to live. You have no neighbors, nobody bothering you. Unfortunately, when you need help, it's going to take a long time for somebody to come and help you. And what she had a Dogman problem.
Wow.
Fortunately, we were able to help her temporarily, and she went and she sold the house.
Wow.
How
do you like help someone with a Dogman problem?
What we suggested was putting hot cayenne pepper, real pepper, the powder. You put that all along the base of your house, along the windowsills, along the top of your door, along your door area, out in the perimeters.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting it all over the place. You also put up lights that have motion detectors on them.
Okay.
We also recommend that you put a piercing alarm. Now, you're not just putting a light here or there willy-nilly. You're on every corner, you have at least 2 lights, and it's shining down, and it's super ultra bright. You also have on every corner of your house and right in front of your main door an alarm that's going to have a piercing sound of at least, I'd say about 120 decibels. And what we do is we recommend a company that they can contact, and you either do it yourself or they'll come out and do it for you.
Wow.
So all these things you can do a couple other things too, but just be forewarned. Your door is not going to stop a Dogman if he wants to get in.
Yeah.
Unless you have a special door and a special, barricade on that, it's not going to stop it. And you've got windows. You have to have special stuff put up. There are companies out there, and I give the names of the companies to people who need them, where you could put screens up, and the screens will stop 110 mile an hour debris coming at your windows.
Yeah.
I mean, these are strong screens. At least it'll give you a chance.
Mm-hmm.
If something's trying to break into your house, you've got a chance, and you can get your firearm, your bear spray, or whatnot. There's a lot of things that you can do, but it depends on if you can actually afford to do it, and if you really want to do it.
Right.
It's how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like when people say that they have Dogman, have you found where there's just a Dogman, or they're like a family of them, or whatever you want to call them, of Dogman usually?
The times we went out, it was a single Dogman.
Okay.
Just a single Dogman. I know there have been stories that I've read in books where people were attacked. I know in Delaware there was a story about that. They were attacked. There was a siege for about 2 days. I think in Mississippi there was a story about a gentleman that had a ranch earlier in the early 1900s, and they were under siege for almost a year. He didn't want to give up the ranch, and that was many, many Dogmen. But generally, the cases that I've went out on, it's been just one Dogman.
Gotcha.
And
do you think that that's because they're maybe like a rogue type, or just a stray from a pack? What do you think that? Why do you think that is?
The way their behavior is really, it's really nothing I can understand very well, because sometimes we're getting reports of a family of Dogmen, Like I have a friend in Texas. He's in northeastern Texas, and he has a ranch, and he and his wife live on it, and he's got like a family of dogmen. It's a family of 4 plus an extra one. So that's the situation there. I mean, sometimes they'll all come, and most of the time I've seen it where it's been a single dog man. That's what the report was based on. My encounter was a single dog man. I came back the next day with a full team to the area where I saw this thing, and it was broad daylight. We searched the area, and we only found the footprints of the one dog man, until it disappeared. And I believe it went up into a tree and then took off. So it's generally the reports I get are one single dog man.
Wow. I find that interesting. Just, I mean, because I don't know, they gotta breed somehow. They gotta, so where do
Yes, yeah. Well, look at the LBL Tennessee, where the family of 4 was killed.
Yes.
That was supposedly by one dog man. We have some people out there saying, "Oh, it was 2 skinny dog men," but no. I mean, all the reports I've ever written, I actually interviewed the young lady whose mother owned I guess you would call it a coffee shop cafe where they served food. She was just a little girl at the time. Her mother's now gone, and she was around back when the LBL attack happened in Tennessee. And she's telling me from all accounts is that it was one dog man. Now, from what she heard from all the people, I mean, she obviously knew the deputies that worked the case and any other police around in the area also. So generally, it's one dog man out there, I guess, looking for food probably and bringing it back to the back to the cave that they're at, or to the burrow that they're in, or tunnel that they're living in, or wherever. But you'll always know that they're going to be around if there's like a water source, because they definitely need a water source, and that water source is also a food source because there's fish in there. Yeah. Right. There's fish. There's also snakes, and other animals are going to inhabit the water source. Rabbits, raccoons, and the like. So I mean, they've got their pick, and they're pretty stealthy and pretty fast from all reports that I've taken.
Yeah. I don't know. Dogmen have always fascinated me, and there was a time, actually it was only like 5 years ago. First time I ever heard of a dogman, I'm like, what the heck? These people are smoking, and I just, as I've come to get more into this, and I meet people who are credible people who have had these encounters, I'm just so intrigued, so that's kind of like my thing right now. I read everything dogman.
Oh yeah, it's really interesting, and if you can really dive into some of the books, ones that are off the beaten path, not the brand new ones that are out there, but the older ones. That's what you really have to look for. And the stories about them, the people just reporting it. That's all. They went to their local police station and they reported this, that, and the other thing. And it's phenomenal, the information you can dig up. And in each state, I mean, the only state I haven't really had heavy dogman reports is in Alaska.
Really?
And so,
I think it's really because it's so vast, and a lot of it is, not had human,
There's no human inhabitants.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there has to be food for them.
Yeah.
It's like, if there's no food in a super cold area, why would they even want to, be in that area? There have been reports of Sasquatch in Alaska, but then again, Sasquatch has been known to go after fish, and there's plenty of fish up off the coast of Alaska.
Sure. What state have you had the most reports in?
The most reports in is it's funny you should ask that, because North Carolina, where I am presently living, has had the most reports.
Interesting.
Has the absolutely most reports. Some of some of the craziest reports I've had are from like Arkansas, Oklahoma, those two states. Oklahoma is a dangerous place to go looking for dogmen, but I would suppose that dogmen would actually want to go there because of all the wild pigs that they have. You know, the wild
There's food.
I mean, they have a problem over there, a big problem.
Yeah.
I know the time that I passed through there with my team. I mean, I'm glad that we were in a very large vehicle. We're in a 6-wheeled vehicle, high off the ground, going through. And I mean, we saw like 24 of these wild boar. And I mean, my God, some of them are 5-6 feet long.
Yeah.
And I would estimate that they weigh 1,200, 1,500 pounds.
Right.
These things will eat you in 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's crazy. Here's a couple questions here. Let me put one up here. Volta BS says, does dogmen have litters or are they like humans? These questions I'm asking may be dumb, but I'm new to learning about what people are seeing. It's not a dumb question. We all start.
Nothing in cryptozoology anyway is dumb because if you say something, I can actually tell you the reason why somebody said it. And yes, they most likely do have litters. There are female dogmen that have been reported. And of course, male dogmen have been reported for ages. Like I mentioned, I have a friend in Texas that owns a ranch, and he said he has seen smaller dogmen. Yeah. And I would imagine they would be like the teenagers. Yeah. They're not as acquainted with humans as an adult dogman would be. And they're more curious. So they have come closer to his property. In fact, he had one that was in a barn that was just outside of his property. And he actually took saliva samples, and he actually heard movement in this one barn and was going to the barn. And I think the thing just ran out the window at the top of the barn. So I can imagine they can jump.
Yeah. Well, and people say to look up too, like up in the trees too, not just for Bigfoot, but dogmen too.
Yep, that's something I preach all the time. I tell people, look up. Yeah, you're looking on the ground to see where you're going. You're looking for snakes and whatnot. But yeah, look up. Yeah. Because there could be a mountain lion up there in the tree. Right. There could be a spider. There could be a snake up there. I mean, you never know what's up there. There could very well be a dogman up there.
Absolutely. Right.
So it's something.
William asks, what do the footprints of a dogman look like?
Well, imagine your own foot, only wider at the top and nails that are about 2 inches long, like not fingernails, but like claw-like nails that are thick, just like a dog. I mean, everybody's seen what a dog's nails look like, but like the front is wide and it tapers to a thinner heel. There's 2 different types of dog prints that I've found over the years, and I can equate the second type of print, and I know it's a dogman print. It's on the kind that have the backward type elbow type legs. The print is more, it almost looks like a horseshoe with claws on it. Okay. This is what I equate it to looking like. But the general print that I've had casts that I've taken of them and that I've taken pictures of have been the one where it is a wide forefoot with the claws, and then it comes tapering back. I guess you can't see what I'm doing, but it tapers back into a smaller heel.
Okay. Interesting. Let's see. Here's another question for you. Tennessee Ridge Runner 2 says, question, do you think dogmen can be or are controlled somehow?
No, I don't. Not at all. I did a report several years ago with the creator of another dogman group, and we investigated that and we checked it out, and we both agreed that a wild creature like this is not going to be controlled. Even if you put a shock collar on it and you had it in a jail cell, that thing is going to be thinking 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year about how to escape, how to get that collar off its neck and how to destroy you after it escapes. It's going to think of one thing and one thing only. Remember, we are talking about something that's 7.5 feet tall, possibly 650, 700 pounds. It's got 3-inch claws. It's massively muscular. It doesn't eat cakes and cookies like humans do. It eats meat. It's extremely strong. It's acclimated to the nighttime. It can go either on all fours or go bipedal, and it is an apex predator. We're talking about something that thinks of itself as the king out there. Nothing's going to mess with it. So it's not going to be controlled. If people think you can get one and control it, I think you're barking up the wrong tree there.
Yeah. Well, I've heard of people say the government has them and they control them, making them into super soldiers, things like that. And
first of all, we've never seen something like that out there. Second of all, I am still a little bit connected with the government, and when I was very heavily connected, I was studying cryptozoology, and I'm going to tell you, I did try my best to find stuff out, and no, they did not create a super soldier, Dogman. As far as I know, I'm going to tell you no. As far as aliens go, I think in the next year and a half or so, I think they're going to be coming out with some heavy duty stuff for everybody.
Yeah.
But as far as Dogman goes, I don't think they're going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, we made Dogman. We made Dogman as a super soldier to combat Sasquatch." No, you didn't do anything of the such. They don't do that. I mean, something would have came out by this time, also.
Yeah. Yep. Wholeheartedly. Do you think that the government has bodies of them and Bigfoot? And
most likely.
Yeah.
Most likely, because I'll tell you, over the years, myself, I've known other cryptozoologists out there that have sent stuff into the Smithsonian. They send stuff into other scientific sections of the U.S. government, and that was the last you've heard of whatever they sent out. Nothing. Like I said, a fellow from another organization, a Dogman organization, had sent stuff out to to the Smithsonian Institute. They denied ever receiving it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing was, FedEx said that they delivered it and it was signed for. Oh no, we don't have a Mr. Green that works here that signed for that, whatever you sent us.
Right.
So no, I think they're keeping it quiet, and for good reason. And the reason is you don't want to panic the public. You don't want to have them not go to parks,
right?
And spend money at the parks. This way, you can keep people employed, and it's part of the economy. I mean, like they used to say in the old detective movies, you want to solve a crime, follow the money.
That's true.
And unfortunately, 90% of the time, it's true.
Very true. Absolutely very true. Let's see. Man, you're just getting a lot of questions here. I'm trying to keep up.
Yep. Right.
Troy in Tennessee asks, do you see the physical form of a Dogman or just apparitions?
I had an encounter, and I saw the physical form. We were out here earlier this year in North Carolina with an expeditionary team, and we split the team. We had 4 guys. We split them. Myself and the one fellow went east. The other 2 guys went west in 2 days in a row. And this was just around 4:30, so you still had light out. And then, yes, it was wintertime, but they actually saw a bipedal Dogman. And I was just cursing myself for not taking the western side, and I took the eastern side because they called us over the radio. And we must have done a half mile in about 2 minutes. We were running. We were running to try to get to where they were. And the second day it happened again. And these guys are former military. They're not going to mess around with me, of all people. And I mean, they work with me. And I said, you got to get over here now. And the second day that we were there, they saw it again. And it's like, why? Why didn't I pick that section? Now, I mean, I've saw out of the corner of my eye when I was with D.A. Roberts in LBL, Kentucky, a dogman by a tree. DA got a straight on view of it. I have excellent peripheral vision, and I saw something large and dark by a tree. And by the time I stopped the vehicle and backed up, this thing had went down into a gully area, and DA and I were not going to chase after it. I mean, what are you going to do? You know, there's just two of us, and what are we going to do with it? We're going to go shoot it? No.
Right.
You know, that's not why we go out there. We go out there to investigate things, but it was something. It was something there to behold.
Gotcha. Let's see. That's what do you think about like a good friend of ours, Bettina Moss? She had a dogman encounter, and it spoke to her. You know, it said, oh, it's just hers, what she heard. And so, what do you think about that? Because I think she's pretty credible, and I've heard other people talk about, that they've had the mind speak. What is your thoughts on that?
Well, the area that she saw it in, there's a lot of cornfields over there. And if you've ever been in a cornfield, you know how high that stuff is. I mean, it's an excellent area for a dogman to live. Number one, I mean, there's corn. It can eat corn. Nothing says it can't. Eat vegetables and stuff like that. But there's a lot of deer in those cornfields too. There's a lot of other different types of animals in the cornfields. And that specific area where she was in, I've heard her story, from her mouth. She and I were, on the phone one day, and she told me the whole deal. And definitely. And from what I understand, her father may have known something about this, also, but nobody talks about it.
Right.
That's just it. That's the whole deal. Like what some people do. They'll see something and they'll keep it to themselves. Yeah. They're either so frightened by it, or they feel like, oh, I'll make a fool of myself if I tell anybody about it. I mean, I don't care. I know what I saw.
Right.
And when I've been in different situations, when I've had different sightings and the like, I know what I saw. So I don't care what you think what I saw. You can't tell me what I saw. I know what I saw.
Right.
I don't make any money off of this. I'm in this for the love of cryptozoology. Yep. I do it for the 14 research. I do it for the field investigation, and I want to prove or disprove. Yeah. And so far, everything I've seen proves that Dogman is a viable cryptid out there.
Well, you just didn't make me feel any better, Nick. I'm just going to tell you, right. I live in farm fields, and right now, and usually every year, they plant corn, which you can only see my house when you pass it on the gravel. You can't see it coming up to it because the corn's so high, and no. Just you're going, oh, okay, great. You know, because I do see a lot of wildlife out here. I see coyotes, I see deer, I see raccoons, I see all kinds of wildlife out here in farm fields. So I believe that 100%. Yeah. Because I'm telling you, the deer out here are feasting. They're getting good stuff right now. So I can see that.
I'm going to tell you, most of the reports that I've read, and I don't mean reports that, let's start with the reports I've read from books and reports on the internet. A lot of times people report going down a roadway, and out of the cornfield on the left or the right is a bipedal dogman, wolf-like creature running across the road. Yep. 2 years ago, I took a full team up with 2 gators. These are 6-wheeled vehicles that can run through mud and snow and the like, right? We took 2 gators. We took a full team up. We went to upstate Pennsylvania and cornfields. Once again, it was reported that dogman running from one cornfield to the next. And this was the winter time. Right. All right. So there's no big stalks of corn, but these are cornfields. Okay. Yeah. We were up there. We actually found claw marks on some trees out there. We found a lot of footprints, dogman footprints. Unfortunately, I messed up. I don't have it down pat yet how to take a footprint out of a snow print. I brought a couple of bottles of this insulation that's in a can, and when you spray it, it's supposed to harden. So I sprayed it in the tracks and everything, and nothing. It just fell apart when I tried to pick it up. But I'm going to tell you, we had 5 viable witnesses for that. People going down the roadway, and I wrote a big report up on it at the time. I put the names of the roads and everything, so people, could either go to the area, investigate for themselves, or avoid the area.
Yeah.
Because the one couple that saw it while they're driving in their car, they just, first thing out of her mouth was, "We're moving." And it's like, well, I don't care where you move. You're going to find Dogman almost any place, except maybe Alaska.
Right.
But they had one heck of a scare. The wife and husband are going down this one road, 35 miles an hour, and running right next to their car was a Dogman.
Mm-hmm.
Guy's wife goes to him, look. He looked over. He didn't say a word. He hit the pedal.
Yeah.
And he kept going faster and faster. He got 60 miles an hour before they lost this thing. Now,
Wow.
I mean, if that doesn't give you a shock, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
But they reported it, and 4 other very viable subjects reported the same thing on the same road within the same 2-week time period.
Wow.
So we went up there. We went into some of the fields up there. And like I said, we found footprints in the snow that did not look like bear prints. It did not look like deer prints, where the deer are walking and the front feet are here, the back feet come up to make it look like a bigger footprint and everything. We know the difference between that. Like I said, I was unable to take that, but we did get some good photographs of the claw marks on the trees.
Wow.
Where they may have ran across from one cornfield to the next, and down to Brandy's cornfield after that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be knocking at your door pretty soon.
Yeah.
Well, I'm only about 30 miles south of the Mark Twain National Forest, so it would not surprise me if they ventured out a little bit.
Yeah.
At this time of year, because like all the trees are full, the crops are getting big. It wouldn't surprise me if they do venture out a little bit farther.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a big water source near you?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Lord.
we have the Black River that's just a few miles here.
Yeah.
Everything needs water to survive, and that's one big thing that's not going in your favor.
No, I know. I'm hoping they won't come out this far, but you just never know. You never know.
Carry that bear spray with you at the least. At least have something.
Right.
There's a road about a mile from my house, and I seen on somebody's show that there was a lady back during Hurricane Katrina. Her house had gotten flooded with the storm, and her parents lived up in Hannibal, Missouri, and the road to get there goes about a mile from my house. Well, the Mississippi River runs along there, and she had a Dogman encounter. Her car broke down in the middle of the night, and it was her and her cats. And she looked in her rear view mirror, and she seen the creature come out at her. I just thought that was interesting because she said it was between O'Fallon and Winfield, that's where I'm at, which I just find that interesting because that's not far from me. Regardless, it's not far from me.
I know. It kind of makes you want to put all the game cameras or something just to have them out.
Right. Yeah. You hear.
Unfortunately, I think they can pick up on the sound.
Yeah.
The cameras.
That's true. Because they are loud. I mean,
and the infrared that they have on the nighttime cameras, they're picking up on that.
Yeah.
I mean,
so what would you use? What would you use what would you leave out there to capture evidence?
I guess you just got to have a human out there in a blind up in a tree looking down.
Right.
And you have a camera that has night vision capability. They have binoculars now that have night vision capability.
Yeah.
Besides those, the ear protectors that I have that help the hearing, I do have a pair of directional hearing earmuffs, and I could hear two people from 300 feet away whispering with those. And sometimes I'll take those out, and at nighttime I'm listening, but they're directional. That's the only problem with those, or they are directional, but they are super sensitive. I'm now I when I wear those, I feel on par with like wolves and coyotes because they can really, really, really hear everything. So I feel on par with them. So that would be good. So when you're out there at night, I mean, it's unfortunate that the technology costs so much money.
Sure.
Night vision goggles that do not use infrared. See, most night vision goggles you can afford have an infrared beam that shoots out and it lights up an area, and you're able to see it. But if you're able to see it, so are the deer, the raccoons, Dogman, Sasquatch, whatever's out there is going to be able to see it. Now, if you have regular military goggles, and these things unfortunately cost about $3,000 minimum, it picks up any kind of light and it magnifies it. And you have two types. You have the white and you have the green. And I prefer the white myself. But then there's another technology that they have out there that costs like $12,000 a pair. And it's like in color. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I got to use them. But the stuff is just beyond reach of most research teams.
Right.
Was there a question that came up? I didn't get the.
There's a couple. Yeah, we have several questions here for you.
Yeah, there's more. More where that came from.
Yeah. Volta BS asks, is there any footage like the Patterson Gimlin film?
There is footage out there, but it really hasn't been proven or disproven yet.
Gotcha.
But there is footage out there. I mean, I know one was sent to me about 3 years ago. This Spanish guy was in a boat with a friend of his, and they were in a large body of water, and they were filming something that they saw on the land.
Yeah.
And it did look like a dog man, I'll tell you that much. It did look very much like a dog man, especially when it stood up. So, but, most of us don't have the equipment to really analyze that film.
Yeah.
And there have been no scientists that have analyzed that particular film as the Gimlin film was analyzed. There was a Russian scientist that analyzed that one, and he believes it to be real.
Wow.
Absolutely real, because he did the biomechanics, of the Sasquatch movements and everything. He's pointing out that it was a female. He pointed out that it actually had some sort of a pouch around its waist.
Interesting.
Carrying something. So I mean, and he actually compared the mechanical gait of the creature, and he says there's no human gait like that. So I don't know. I mean, I wish somebody would come out and do some of these dog films.
I'm with you.
Krista, it costs not tens of thousands, but hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment to be able to get the time and the equipment to analyze the film that's out there. But it's interesting. It's interesting to look at.
For sure. For sure. This is a great question here that Crystal J has. She says, has anyone ever said anything about a dogman having their own language like Bigfoot with the samurai talk?
I haven't really heard anything like that. The only thing we've heard is like a howl, like a wolf type howl. There's no gibberish or anything like that. And all the time that I've researched it, and all the people that have contacted me, and the folks that I've spoken to and interviewed, I nothing like that. No kind of language. I mean, I assume if your regular common everyday dog, barking and howling at another dog, probably the pitch and the tone, it's communicating something.
Right.
So that's the only thing I could think of in respect to this question.
Yeah.
Maybe the pitch and tone, it's warning or saying something.
Yeah. This question here, I want to answer real quick. William says, a truck driver who shot a dogman to death claimed that the government men told him he killed one of their operatives. What do you think of that? my thinking on this incident, you know, I don't judge anybody that comes forth and tells their encounter. I don't say that didn't happen to you or this did happen to you. You know, I am not one that says that. So, and you know, that's just kind of my 2 cents on that. What do you think, Nick?
If this is the fellow, first, I won't give the whole name, Joe, who shot a Dogman through the eye. And incidentally, if you do have to shoot one and you're good enough to get it through the eye, it's going to go through the brain and blow out the skull. I think he had a 44 Magnum. Government is not going to say anything like that. They're going to deny everything. And they're going to try to do their best to convince you to just forget about it in every which way that you can possibly think. I don't believe there is no dogmen that are operatives in the United States government.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're too wild to control. As I said before, they're not going to be controlled by anybody. They are apex predators. I mean, have you ever heard of somebody taming a polar bear? I mean, have you ever seen what a polar bear looks like? They're like 12 feet tall. They're monsters, killing machines. No, nobody's tamed a polar bear.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're going to tame a Dogman either.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know enough about them to really talk about it. You know, my only thing is that, you know, I've witnessed things that I can't explain. And, you know, if I've told people, you know, like, you think I'm crazy all you want, but I know what I saw. And so I'm not one to say, hey, that didn't happen to you. I don't know, you know. Next
exactly. People can't tell you what you saw.
Right.
And, you know, you're not in this to make, you know, thousands of dollars, and you're not in this to, you know, be on television and in the movies. You know, you're out there to bring out, you know, information to people to help them out. I can't tell you how many people contact me, and half the time I feel like I'm a counselor.
Yeah.
You know, I had one fellow that hadn't had an ounce of sleep in like 50 hours because he was so afraid that a Dogman was going to come into his house. Yeah. You know, and it's like, if he wants in, he's going to get in, you know? So obviously your fears are not warranted. There have been many a video. In fact, last year, recently, there was at least 4 or 5 videos on YouTube where a black bear now, not a brown bear, which is bigger. A black bear has gone into somebody's house. It went up to the door, smacked it, and the door flew open. Your double-cylinder deadbolt lock and your regular doorknob lock are not going to stop a black bear. A black bear is about 10 times stronger than a human. Okay? So he's whacking the door. The bear came in. This is in Pennsylvania, by the way. The bear came into the house. That was, you know, they were either gone for the winter or maybe they were out shopping. I don't know what. But they had cameras. This bear had his way with the house. You know, walking all over, ripped open the refrigerator, went through the cabinets. They had video of this thing. So I'm talking about an animal that we know of. Yeah. You know, talk about something like a Dogman, which is probably twice as strong as a black bear easily. You know? And look at brown bear and grizzly. They're 8 feet tall, those things. Yeah. And I always encourage people when I go on shows to go to a zoo. Please go to a zoo that have, you know, a lot of animals, and go and look at what a bear actually looks like, a brown bear, how big they are, how big their paws are. There's a big difference, guys, about how big the paws on a black bear. A black bear's paws are about as big as my hand. Brown bear, let me get in here, it's about that big. It's enormous. Massive. Enormous. An 8-foot brown bear or grizzly bear? Oh my God. I mean, these things are enormous. Yep, so, absolutely. Definitely. And people see on television, History Channel or other channels, moose, you know, up in the Canadian wilderness, you know, 1,500-pound moose. These things are nasty and they're mean. And you don't ever want to come up, you know, in front of a moose, because if it charges you, most likely it's going to get you.
Yep.
So, there's a lot of things out there that want to get you besides
Right.
a cryptid, a dog man or a Sasquatch or a moth man or a frog man or a skunk ape or whatever out there. You got
Right.
your hands full when you're out there as it is.
Absolutely. All right, here, Mark Plowboy Green asked, has he heard of any reports from Alabama?
Over the years, I've gotten reports out of Alabama, on Dogman. In fact, I think Bettina's from that area, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
She's from
she is.
Alabama. And that's where she had a physical, type of sighting right there.
Yeah.
In her car, she saw the Dogman right there. She lives in Alabama. So
Yeah.
stay out of your cornfields unless you're in a big old corn machine.
Absolutely. That's funny. And Just Curious asks, what you reckon the lifespan is for a dogman?
I can't say for sure, but you know what? They exhibit a lot of human traits. So, I'm going to give them, this is just my opinion, I'm going to give them 60 years,
Okay.
at least out there, about 60 years.
That's a pretty good lifespan.
That's a long time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I don't know for sure, but I'm just figuring all the reports and information that I know about them.
Sure.
And like I said, they could be interdimensional beings, they could be alien beings, in which case maybe they live longer than that. But
Absolutely.
on this earth, they do have to eat while they're here, and evidently they breathe. They're in our atmosphere, so something's going on. And
the creepiest thing I've heard that a dogman does, and you hear this a lot, where it smiles at someone.
Yeah.
That's not creepy.
Maybe an intimidation tactic, or like, hey,
Does it have a tick or something, or is it just it's smiling at you saying, I could eat you in 2 seconds if I wanted to.
Right.
Yeah. That just you hear about that, and like, that would be creepy. I would almost rather meet me than smile at me, because to me that's just, I don't know, a big intimidation thing. And it also goes back to where, like, we were kind of talking about, like, the interdimensional type dogmen. People, like, they have their encounters, and then they go home and they have nightmares.
Oh,
these creatures are their nightmares. So could that be PTSD? Or could this really be,
Right.
this creature coming in their nightmares?
Well, because I always thought that. I mean, I would have PTSD, I think, at least for a little while. Right after, an encounter, I mean, that's all I would think about for sure.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, we've talked. Well, I've said stuff. It's possibly it came from the Earth originally. It's possible it's interdimensional. It's possible it's alien. But what we didn't talk about is something the Native Americans talk about, Dogman. It's possible that they are spiritual, and they turn into corporal beings when they need to turn into that, because the Native Americans have reported for ages, the longest time, that Dogman, they protect their burial grounds. Now, this is not just me saying this. This is in the diaries of fur trappers from the 1700s, from the fur trappers of the 1800s.
Yeah.
Many times that's been written down. They've written down stuff where their experiences with Native American Indians that have told them, trap there, that's okay, but don't go there because that's our burial ground and it's protected by the Dogman. Now, the Dogman can very well be spiritual at this point. So we've talked about 4 different ways that it could exist.
Yeah.
We don't know. It's interesting though. I'll tell you, a few months back, I met up with some friends. It was a nice night out, no bugs. We're sitting around one of them burner things that they have these days. People throw wood in it, right? We had food and coffee. We're sitting outside, and we talked well into the morning, early morning, up to I think it was like 4 o'clock before we all just took off and went back home and went to bed. but it started at 9 o'clock, and we just kept talking about it, about the possibilities of these cryptids, whether it be a Mothman, a Sasquatch, a Dogman, you name it, the possibilities of where they come from, whether it could be a paranormal, event, whether it could be interdimensional, it could be from outer space, it could be just from the earth, and there's so little of them that we don't see a lot of them.
Sure.
They're still there, still procreating. I'm going to tell you, we could have kept talking. It just going on and on and on. But we kind of ran out of food and coffee, so I guess everybody wanted to go home. A couple of guys were drinking some really good 20-year scotch, too. I have to say that. And smoking some cigars from, I think the other side of the Florida Keys. Yeah, I mean, you could have a fun time if you got a group of knowledgeable people who have had experiences and have researched things. Oh my God, it'd be phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, there was a question here, but Lovey Love says, have you been back to North Carolina for any investigations lately? Actually, Nick lives in North Carolina now, Lovey Love. So he's
Lovey,
there right now.
Lovey, I live here now. That's the reason why I moved here, because field investigations are so much easier for me to get to. As a matter of fact, I've been up over the past few weeks with an expeditionary team. Once again, that's anywhere from 3 to 4 guys. It's not a full blown out, fully jocked up team. I mean, we have stuff with us. I have my electronic flashbangs and the bear spray, the gloves, the helmets, the flashlights. But we usually act during the daytime. We're up in Ashe, North Carolina right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm pronouncing it right. ASHE.
Mm-hmm.
And that is northwest of where I'm at right now. That's the northwest portion of the state. It's near Tennessee, so and Virginia. It's near Tennessee and Virginia. And I mean, my God, talk about a state with a big history of Dogman and Sasquatch, Tennessee, and so too with Virginia.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that's an ongoing investigation right now. And like I said, right now I'm trying to get together some new teams. I'm trying to form some new teams because I left I had 3 full teams, 21 people back in New Jersey. But they were guys I worked with, and I was able to get them to go on, field investigations under the guise of training. I would go to the boss and say, hey, the guys need some training in the desert. Or, the guys need some training in the forest areas. Okay. So the company would foot the bill for all that.
Right.
Now that I'm out here, I don't have so many people, but I'm trying to get them. Yeah. And Jeremiah Fountain, when you and your wife move out here, I can't wait. Gary Spikes Jr., when you guys move out here, I can't wait because that'll be adding 2 more to the team.
There you go. There's 2 more questions we'll answer real quick. And Thomas asked, Nick, what firearms do you recommend while researching?
Well, like I said, we don't go out to hunt, but we will defend ourselves. I generally carry a 308 with 200 grain bullets. If it's going to take down a grizzly bear, it sure as heck is going to do something to a Dogman or a 10-foot and under Sasquatch. Okay. And also, I do recommend a sidearm. I use a 10-millimeter Glock. Once again, we have special ammo, and it's 200 grain bullets in the Glock, and it's a 10-millimeter. So those are the 2 firearms I recommend. If you're going out there with a 223, which is a 5.56 round, which is a common round, I don't know. I just don't recommend that.
Yeah.
Now, something is better than having nothing. Yes, I agree. I would definitely go out there with the right firearm and more than yourself.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Have at least 3 feet. So at least you can walk in a triangle formation
Yeah.
And you could have the guys in the back turning around, watching your six all the time too, because you never know it'll come up behind you. And stay close together. Make sure everybody knows how to handle firearms. Oh, I know, Tom. Yeah.
Yeah. They also ambush too. Like, we were at the LBL and like kind of lure, like here's one over here getting your attention here, but then, you got others circling you too. So yeah,
you do have to watch out for that. You don't know what they're going to be up to.
No, you don't.
We have no idea. We have no good information. So,
yeah.
So far, we don't have a lot of reports of attacks over the years, but that could change in an instant.
Right. Last question here. William asks, do you know of any reports of Dogman and Bigfoot fighting, and do you believe them?
I've read of reports, and I've spoken to people in interviews of hunters that have been out there, and yeah, I do believe it because they don't play well together, Bigfoot and Dogman. As you guys probably know, you got LBL Kentucky and LBL Tennessee, and one section is mostly Sasquatch, one section is mostly Dogman, and then there's a section in between that's like a green zone, like a neutral zone, where they all go through. I don't think that they specifically want to fight, and mix it up with each other.
Yeah.
Right.
But, sometimes, like humans, somebody's going to be a wise guy and somebody does something and they will clash. You never know. It could be fighting over food.
That's true.
Right.
A very large buck could have gotten killed by a Dogman, and a Sasquatch comes by and smacks him with a tree limb, and they start something. Dogman comes back with a group, and they ambush him. So it's like, I have taken reports from hunters, and they were scared.
Right. Well, when it comes to the LBL, when it comes to the LBL, and there is, a prominent population of Bigfoot and a prominent population of Dogman, I think they pretty much give each other a wide berth.
Yes.
Because it's not worth the energy, I would say, to get out there and them fighting, because they're after the same food source. Well, that's a different story. But I pretty much think that they just kind of move around each other. I really do.
Brandy, I agree with you. And when you guys were there ghost hunting, did you go at nighttime?
Oh, yeah. We would go at night. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I was there with DA and we were driving around, we were in my vehicle, which is an H3 Hummer, which I put bulletproof material in the fenders and in the doors, just in case something were to happen. Right. Mm-hmm. So I felt kind of secure, and I had drop down cages for the windows and everything, but I felt an aura of crushing down on us, even during the daytime. Yeah. It felt like when we went in the daytime, the canopy, the foliage was just like so together that it was just like dark and dank, and it was foreboding, and it was like,
yes,
we don't really want you here. Get out. One of those type of deals. And when we went over the bridge to go back into the town, everything just lightened up. It felt like I had a weight on my chest, and whoop, everything just came right off. It felt really weird out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
We know that feeling. We definitely know that feeling.
We got it the very first time we went. We both noticed it. We were both suffering from the same symptoms. It's crazy because I'm like, what's going on? I'm feeling this and I'm feeling this, and Chris is like, well, so am I. We're feeling the same things going in there the first time. Now that we've been there so many times, I don't feel that as much, and I don't know if it's because I'm used to it now, and I just ignore it. Like my body just ignores it because I'm used to it. But yeah, absolutely. The very first time we went in there, we absolutely felt that. It was just crazy nuts. So
once again, is it something alien? Is it something dimensional that's making you feel that way? Or is it paranormal?
Right. That's what I was gonna say.
It could be something paranormal doing that.
Yeah.
You know, that it doesn't want to be bothered with you and wants you out. You know,
Yeah.
out of the area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's all of the above.
Right.
It was interesting though, driving through Kentucky LBL at nighttime. It was just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I like the areas up.
Yeah, it takes on a whole new atmosphere at night for sure.
We never saw deer. We never saw squirrels or birds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what's going on? This is a forest area. What is going on? The only thing we saw in plentiful was bugs. And millions of them suckers. But like I said, my little spider spray there, that stuff really does work.
Yeah, ticks aplenty. That's what I say. Ticks aplenty.
For sure. For sure. Well, this has been fun. I appreciate you coming on and again.
Again, of course. Of
Yes.
course, we got to check in.
It's been a while, but I like being out with you guys. And
We enjoyed having
three of you at one time?
There was at one time, but Aaron has moved on to bigger, better things. So yeah.
Oh yeah, but it's always fun coming on your show. You guys know the right questions to ask. You have an excellent audience out there.
We do. We have the best.
I clicked over here on comments and stuff, and you've got tons and tons of people out there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have the best subscribers ever.
Yeah, Paranormal Paul, how you doing out there? Thanks, Paul. And I don't know this other one. Diller Radio.
DJ Tyler. Tyler Radio.
Mm-hmm. DJ Tyler Radio. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm telling you, we tell everybody we seriously, we have the best people in our chats. Absolutely, we do.
And Trey in Tennessee.
Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to Maggie.
Out there.
Yes. Quick shout out to Maggie M10 and James Fedke for the super chats. Appreciate those.
Absolutely.
And so tonight was Dogman. Tomorrow night's Bigfoot. We are going to be talking with Linda Eastburn tomorrow night.
Ooh.
So a little Bigfoot.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out. So everybody stay tuned tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central. And I guess we'll see everybody then.
Yep, for sure. For sure. Thank you again, Nick, for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Good seeing you again.
Yep, good to see you. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, real quick, turn into Monica's show, 10 p.m. coming on after ours, but you can find it on Texas Front Porch.
Yeah, Monica Rollins, Our Paranormal World.
Yep. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.